light skin wiggle.
How basketball saved my life. It's your host at the easy button at Twan the Don. Without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, chat. Life tried to drown me. This hoop is like my life jacket. This ice in my veins is something Titanic. Lockdown defense kept me out that center for detention. Divine intervention passes over to my center. Alleyways of the alley-oops. Some got no looks and passed away when somebody shoots. Back in court duos, but nobody hoops. The wrists follow through, but the cuffs gotta loop. Pick a book or pick that biggie book. It's just you and I, out running suicides. Me, I was out running suicide. Boy, I'm going in, dropping gems that I picked up in these gyms. I can't slack, I've been down and back. I'm just trying to share a few tales from this thing called life. Count my assists, and I swear that basketball really saved my life. Yeah, chat, I swear it saved my life. Let's go.
Welcome to another episode of How Basketball Saved My Life. I'm your host, The Easy Button.
And your boy, Twan the Don.
And we got a very special guest in here for y'all today, my man, Mike Neal.
How you guys doing, man?
Man, we in here, boy. We in here. Nobody knows, but this take two. This take two, and I'm glad we get take two going, because, boy, we've been talking about you before you came. We tried to talk about it behind your back.
That's all right. That's all right.
We tried, because we're trying to get ready for you, because, listen, I first moved to Oklahoma, you know what I'm saying? I meet Mike Neal, and this dude was a straight cheat code. Straight
no
cheat code.
cap at all.
Listen, hey, I'm guarding Mike because nobody want to guard Mike at this point. So I'm guarding Mike, and he hits me with the swipe, and I stop. I look at the ref. He said it's legal. I had to go through that for a whole summer before I put it in my game. Mike, but because of you, I'm putting that in my game.
But check this, a little bit before you met him, I had just got here in I think 2012 maybe. I don't know if you had just came back from overseas or not.
No, I've been here for a few years.
Okay, but he was playing in this league with us, and this boy used to bully the mess out of me. He taught me how to use my shoulder and bully cats, so I salute him for that.
No, it's offensive foul. You can't get by athleticism. You got an offensive foul, so you can stay relevant and play a little bit.
It is not offensive foul. They don't call it.
All the love.
I used to stop playing thinking they gonna blow that whistle,
Man.
And they ain't blow that whistle, boy. And hey, listen
to the cup.
Hey, listen, man. So, man, Mike, we're glad you could make it.
I appreciate y'all.
My man Mike Neal played in the big Texas. Talk to him.
So played in the Dallas-Fort Worth areas, in the outskirts of Dallas, Mesquite, Texas, in high school. Right there, I think that's probably where I started to grow a little bit as an individual. Today, these kids play AAU all the way up from elementary up until now. I played one season.
Even past high school.
I played 2 seasons.
One season AAU, but that season seeing getting the chance to play in Las Vegas and California against some of the better competition in my grade was beneficial for me, and got a chance to get exposed.
What grade was that?
So that was my junior year going into my senior year, and be quite honest, we just, from a family financial standpoint, we didn't have the means to do it. Knew very little about it, but whenever I was approached with it, I was fortunate enough to have a coach to help me out and get me to where I can play with them.
In other words, he was good. In other words,
he got a scholarship.
They took care of him.
That's what's up, man.
Yes, sir.
Golly.
So what kind of got you started on this hoop journey of yours?
Well, to be honest, growing up in Texas football state, so I grew up loving football. The only reason I started playing basketball was because my older brother, he's 2 years older than me. His name's Derek Neal.
Oh, he's got to be cold.
He put you through it. But he was the individual that loved basketball. And
Shout out Derek Neal.
So my mom used to go to work 6 days a week, 9 to 9. So kids, we in and out the house when we ain't supposed to be.
Right,
so wherever he went, we had to go. So he go to the court, I got to go to the court grudgingly. So from there, and that was probably whenever I was maybe in the 6th grade, that's whenever I really just wanted to pay attention to it because my older brother did it a lot.
Okay.
Wow, 6th grade. So is that when you say you considered yourself a basketball player then?
So not even, because like 6th grade, and again, financials of it, we ain't, my mom's not paying for me to play in no basketball league and just don't have the money to do it. So my first time playing organized basketball was in 7th grade, and that's in middle school where it was free. The only thing I needed was a physical.
Right.
So from there, in Texas, I went to a middle school, and I only played in the second quarter. So you had a participation rule. I didn't start. I wasn't even on that level. I was real bad. No joke. But 7th grade, I didn't start. But in the second quarter, the starters had to sit. So I had to come off the bench, and I played about half the game. I mean, half that quarter, second quarter. And if we're blowing somebody out, I played a little bit more. But from there, just being on the bench, I was like, man, I really want to play a little bit more. And, there's no going home telling you, mommy, to go talk to the coach and do all that stuff. That's not going to happen.
What was that coach's name?
I cannot remember.
Taking you back
Man,
right
you can
now.
dig in the membrane right now.
7th grade, I do not remember. I just remember that put me in a mode to where I got to get better. I remember my 8th grade
Shout out
coach.
to that coach. That's what I was trying to get to. Shout out to that coach not playing Mike there the whole
that
game.
was good, man. And so then I stuck underneath my brother that whole summer. We came back my 8th grade year, and then I got an opportunity to start, and that's where it started for me.
So that's kind of similar to me. Obviously, what I'm saying, I didn't start as early as you, but I used to follow my brother and watch him play.
Absolutely.
But he was 6 years older than me, so I could never ever play with the people he was playing with, because if he's 16, I'm 10. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So then I got to just go watch him, begging to play, never being able to play, and every little dead ball situation or in between games, that's when I was trying to shoot. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
and,
yeah.
That's kind of what made me want to play. The fact that they won't let me play. What? Okay, then I'm gonna show y'all. Wait till I get on this court. So that's kind of how I got started, man. For real. Twan, what you got for him, man?
I mean, I just want to know. So, what age group did you start feeling yourself and actually feel like ball was where you wanted to take it?
Ooh.
Well, so it's funny because in 8th grade, that's whenever I start playing. I was one of the better ones on the team. And from there, I was like, man, if I put in this amount of work, what happens if I do it a little bit more? So then I wanted some separation from my peers.
Separation.
So I did it all the time.
Separation anxiety.
I'm telling you, so doing it all the time, even whenever they weren't. We used to be big on the game. We hop on the game and then go hoop. But then I was like, I got to figure out, some time to do it by myself too. So start doing it by myself, and then it just little by little it started to happen. In 9th grade year, I felt like amongst my peers, I was starting to separate little by little. I just got real greedy with it.
It wasn't nothing worse than you getting on a game, you losing. Oh, go see me on the court. That ain't gonna happen in real life. That was back in NBA Live. I know you.
Oh yeah, everybody played
ain't no
NBA
2K
Live right
back
before
then.
2K.
Shout out NBA Live. I wish you didn't go dead on us, but yeah,
2K
man, that's
fan
cool.
anyway.
So 8th grade is kind of where you started,
that's
it's
whenever
ascending.
Yes, sir. That's what I really started to love basketball, and I had no idea where it would take me. There, I was just trying to get better and trying to separate myself a little bit. So 9th grade year happens, and it's at Poteet High School, Mesquite Poteet High School, freshman. So the coach, and I was real tight with my friends, and we're all in the 9th grade. And coach comes up to me, like second, third week of practice, and said, "All right, you're not playing freshman, you're gonna play JV."
Let's get it.
Which was a big deal because he didn't allow freshmen to play varsity. So inside, I was like, man, I wish I can do this with my boys, but I'm gonna do what I can to excel a little bit. But and I see now, freshmen playing on varsity, freshmen starting on varsity. Back then, I say back then,
so hard.
For us, that JV was the varsity for me. And so that freshman year, averaged about, I think, 15, 16 points on the JV. And then that next year, I was looking to hopefully get on that varsity and start. And so my sophomore year, my older brother's getting 2 years older than me. He's a senior, and I'm a sophomore. So He's the
You got to
point.
play with your older brother?
I did.
Oh, my God.
So
You was
and it
living the
just for 1 year,
dream, Mike.
for 1 year. But that's a situation that helped my growth even more because my brother's mouth, and as cocky as he was, and it was the opposite of me. I was a little bit more I would say humble, but definitely not like him. I was not outgoing, man.
Quiet.
So yeah, very quiet.
Speak up, Mike.
Very quiet during the time, but when I cut up with my boys, but when it's business time, I'm a little bit lax. So he was a big part of my transition too, because he played the point, I played the two. Ooh. And but here was the thing,
Sixth
too.
man, y'all was like,
yeah, something like that.
What was their name?
Anton and
Anton.
Yeah,
Anton.
I forget, but I know exactly what you mean.
AK all the way.
But I got to tell this story too, because it was really important to how I approached basketball. Man, we was playing a really good team. I think it was one of the Plano schools, and my brother's playing point guard, and we are getting pressed. So I was like, man, I don't want nothing to do with that press. So I'm running away from my brother at the time. So he's having to break it by himself, and he looking at me like, get your butt over here and help.
Right, using me alone to get jumped.
Yes, using some explicits, but that's what it was.
Already.
So he came. Coach calls a timeout. Man, he stands right in front of coach, like right in my face, calling me every kind of cuss word in the world, and I like brought tears to my eyes in front of my teammates. I was like, man, he embarrassing the mess out of me. And then the thing that hit home is like, man, he said, I thought you can play. He said, I thought you could play. And then
brother gonna get it out you.
And then so from there, I was like, man, and we went on, we struggled during that game, but I tried to serve myself. I remember sitting in the back of the bus on the way home, crying, man. Just crying. I didn't want nobody to see me cry. And then we get home, he still let me have it. But from there I said, man, I gotta do something about this part. And then my brother, he was a hothead. He played for the girls. So anytime girls in the stands, he about to show them. But in practice,
man, I like Derek already.
He the man whenever it come to that. But so in practice, and this was at one school. So my mom, unfortunately, we couldn't renew our residence, so it was at another school. So at this school that we're playing together at, he got into it with coach, and then coach got a little bit rough with him, said some things he probably shouldn't have said. So my brother takes off his jersey, throws it on the ground. He said, "Come on, Mike." So take off my jersey, and then I leave with him. And then he goes, "No, your brother can go, but you need to stay." And then he said, "Mike, let's go." So he quit. I quit. This is my sophomore year.
Right.
So the coaches drive to my house, my mom's house, and they have a conversation about, Derek, he's a senior. He's made his choice.
Right.
But Mike, he's a sophomore.
Was he already signed and everything?
No. My brother wasn't even there. He just played strictly because entertainment and females. So he wasn't going to college to play basketball. He could have, no question, but he did not.
Wow.
So coaches tried to come in and intervene and say, Miss Neal, Mike, he's still a sophomore. He still has something to do with this game. And then my mom said if his older brother's not going to play, then he's not going to play. So from there, we were done with them. So then the conversation, I got to go back to my old school. And then
I don't mean to cut you off, but I don't know. How do you deal with that kind of a situation? Because, I know you got love for the game, too, but, they trying to put it between you and the fam. So, how did that, when you had to, stop with that team personally, how did you kind of handle that?
Well, I just figured somehow, some way I was going to play basketball again. But when my brother leaves, my brother fights, my brother does something, I gotta go with him. Hands down. Ties. And that's the way it was then. Was it a dumb decision? Most likely. Definitely was. But I think everything happens for a reason. I went back to my old school, and then for my junior year, so I was done my sophomore year. My junior year, we got residency back in that area. So I played, started off the season scoring a lot of points. I think on that year I ended up averaging 20 my junior year, but we weren't any good as a team. And in Texas, it's not like Oklahoma. You got to make playoffs. You got to be in your top 3 in the district to make playoffs. Here in Oklahoma, everybody can make it. So senior year happens.
Different time, boy. Times are different.
I'm telling you. So again, I get the AAU season to kind of get exposed and all my weaknesses and try to grow from there. And then I average the 27 point whatever and lead my areas in scoring in the state of Texas.
Now you had some special guys in your conference too, while you led them in scoring.
So in that Dallas Fort Worth area, that was Darren Williams. We're same age. Chris Bosch and his team. He went to Lincoln. They had Byron Eaton and a few more other guys, and they were 40-0. They were the number one team in the country.
They was all on the same team?
All on the same team. Darren was not. Darren played with another dude named Bracy Wright.
Okay.
Darren went to Indiana. Darren went to Illinois. Bracy Wright went to Indiana, and then they had another guy on their team who went to the Air Force. They were some juggernauts, but Lincoln was a team that they couldn't be messed with. They beat everybody in the country.
So they won state.
The state was, yes, they were the best team in the nation.
They won the nation. They won.
Team.
They went and played the Monstars and beat them.
Yeah, everybody. But seeing teams like that and playing against dudes like that, and our thing was playing against older cats to try to help your skills. And I was fortunate enough to get a few opportunities at some small schools and JuCos to come in and look at me. I remember the one time I had my very first home visit with Binghamton University. Their coaching staff came down after my senior year. Coach was talking about the school, talking about everything in New York. It was in New York. And then my mom, who didn't go to college. And so she was in the meeting just looking at me for direction. So coach would ask her a question. My mom look at me.
So what's the answer, Mike?
Yeah, just like that. I did the best I could,
right.
But it just tells you, we're ignorant to that situation.
We really are.
And we just don't know. And
I made all my college decisions, and it
too.
wasn't all great, but I made all my college decisions, and so I can attest to that.
But I think us going through it in our own situation helps our kids whenever they get older. So that's the one thing I take out of that one. And, so I settled on a JuCo here in Oklahoma called Seminole State College.
Now, Seminole State.
Yes, sir.
I hear you went through some very trying times.
Oh, yeah.
Talk to us about that surgery you had and what it was for.
So it was in the fall. In the fall, it's preseason, so you're doing a lot of conditioning, a lot of weights, a lot of individuals, just getting acclimated to the team and then everything. So I'm like 3 or 4 weeks into the school year, and it's on a Friday. I remember it real vividly. And then I tell my roommate, I said, man, I can't go to practice. I said, my head is killing me, like migraine, like ultra migraine. And so I already knew what the coach was going to say. You soft, like you just trying to get out of the workout.
Soft tail on.
You know what I mean? So I missed that 6 a.m. workout. Didn't even go to class. So it's one of those things where I stay in the dorm room the entire weekend, did not leave. Got up to use the restroom.
Oh, you
fight
back
weekend in JuCo.
Oh,
yeah. you hurt if you in on the weekend at JuCo.
I'm telling you. So Sunday rolls around, and again, my roommate leaves right after the workout. He's gone home. He comes back. He's like, "Oh man, what's wrong with your eyes?" So like, I didn't even pay attention to it. My eyes was just closed because I was like, "Man, I just need to go to sleep." And so I go in the bathroom. I can't even open my eyes. Both eyes are swollen shut. And my coach comes in and he uses some crazy explicits saying, we got to get you to the hospital. So I remember not being able to see anything, walking to my dorm room and hearing, like, because we had the soccer team, the baseball team, like all in one dorm, like, oh, man,
Football
what's wrong?
team.
Yeah, what's wrong with him? And then so I get in the car. And all I remember is getting to the hospital with my eyes closed. I couldn't see anything.
Wow.
And then going to sleep. And then my mom, she just, whenever I wake up, she's there. And then I had to have brain surgery to remove a sinus infection that got underneath my skull.
First of all, how can it even travel that far? I mean,
man, I could not tell you. I just know that the first thing they did was went through my nose and they drained my eyes somehow, some way, so I could see. And then from there, they kind of explained the situation underneath the skull. So the way to get underneath the skull is to drill. So right here on the side, you can still kind of feel it, but they drill through that spot to get underneath to do whatever they had to do. And so with drilling, you know, they just don't take a drill. They give you an incision. So on top of my head, and if I cut my hair too low, you can still see the line. On top of my head, they scalped and pulled down the skin, drilled, had that surgery and did that process. Man, I'm telling you. So they put it back up, 52 staples in the head. I had to wear that for about, it was less than a week, but that was the scariest thing in the world. So just imagine you waking up with the staples in your head. And you're like, man, I'm about to look deformed. And yet you, with your situation, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And you know, and doctor said we're gonna be in here for another month or so. So I was in there for 2 months.
In the hospital?
In the hospital. As a matter of fact, it was OU Medical Center that I was in for 2 months. And I was there, and then my weight dropped. Twan, you know, I was 188 and then dropped to 152.
Remember that thing like yesterday, man.
Looked like Snoop Dogg walking around. It was bad.
Like
I was like, I'm telling you. Aging backwards. I'm telling you. But, you know, long story short there, I got right, you know, thank God. And but I redshirted that year. And then after that year, you know, I kind of put my weight back.
How long did it take you to get kind of like back comfortable back?
It wasn't. So I got out Thanksgiving Day. It wasn't until maybe March, April to where I got all my weight back. And then I was okay on the court. Not decent, but just okay.
So did you have to go to through a specific weight regimen and workout? Did you have to do anything specific to get that weight back on? Put on?
No, I mean, the best way I knew how.
You was just hungry.
Man. I could just eat and try my best to work out the best I can. You know, with the resources at JuCo, you limited, but it is what it is. But you know, out of that situation, our coach got let go, and the one who recruited me there, he got let go. New coach comes in.
Did he get let go because of your situation?
No,
were they related?
It wasn't my situation. No, it was just we didn't do well.
Okay.
So you know how that goes. Coach don't do well. Boom, they move on to the next one.
Quick.
So we got another coach. He came in and, you know, I spoke to him, told him about my situation, tried to explain the best that I can to him that I can play and I can help. And, you know, he was there with me for a little bit. But then a week before school started, he gets his assistant to call me and tell me we're going to move in another direction.
Well, he couldn't call you?
He did not. His assistant called me, and you know
that's weak.
So here's the thing: I told my mom the same situation, and then her first thing is, "What'd you do? You had to have done something."
Right.
And I was like, "I've been here the whole summer. I couldn't have done anything." I said, "We're a week out, and I'm ready to go to school." So she called him back. Didn't make it any better because the explicits that she said, I was like, okay, now I'm not even going to go back there. So
I can't even try out no more.
I can't even talk to the coach no more because she just went off. So then she told me, well, you can walk on anywhere. And I said, we can't pay for college. I can't walk on nowhere. So fortunately, my old coach, the one who got fired from Seminole State, got me in touch with Lon Morris College and Dale Dotson and Rick Dotson, and they had another spot for me, and they had me on.
So then basically, a couple days before school started?
It was 5 days later. I came up on the weekend at Lon Morris's in East Texas, Jacksonville, Texas. And I got there on the weekend, and they set me up in the dorm. And I remember getting there, putting all my stuff in. My mom drops me off, and then she leaves. I'm just sitting there. I got an index card, and I put God first, you know, school and basketball, and then dot, and I put that's it. I didn't want no friends. I was there for ball.
That's real.
And that's all I really cared about.
So then what was your conversation like with you and your mom on the way?
On the way there. Oh my goodness. So it's
had to be intense.
Yeah, it's about hour 30 minutes away from where we actually lived, and so she was just laying down the law. You can't come home. That coach tells you to eat, dog. You know what? You eat it. You don't say anything back to him. You don't talk back. You do everything. You're the first one there, the first one back. And then she kept saying, after a couple of you can't come home. And you know that's so much
with
different.
That mentality,
I can't come home. So
I can't come home.
No,
I gotta go out there and tear some heads off.
I have to, and you know, I did exactly what I was supposed to do to put myself in a situation to go on and continue to play. After my first year, I started getting a lot of. It's just like getting being recruited all over again. So I got several Division I offers after that first year. And then that second year, I was the #1 rated JuCo guard in the country.
So, quick question: what was your ideal college that you wanted to go to?
So before I went to JuCo, I love Kansas.
Okay.
I love Kansas. I love Kirk Heinrich and Nick Collison and those
dog.
guys. Jeff Boschee. I love watching them. I was like, that's perfect. That's ideal. I think that was the cream of the crop. You know, North Carolina and Duke, all them, they were what they were. But here in this Big 12 region, it was Kansas.
Right. It still is.
But the toughness was Oklahoma to me. So I always felt like Oklahoma were the dogs, and Kansas and Oklahoma were it. And I lived in Texas, so everybody's like, so why didn't you root for UT? Why didn't you root for Texas? I said, just never. Never had. And
that's crazy.
And me and my brother was the same way. So we was,
oriented.
oh my goodness. And I love football. So, and I loved OU's football team. And as a matter of fact, when I had my brain surgery, I'm at OU Medical Center. So that's all they talked about. So I was kind of brainwashed.
You was brainwashed. You was asleep.
So I was
They woke you up in that OU form.
So
that's what did it to him.
That's
it makes sense now.
So here's the thing too. So, you know, I was getting all the Division I attention, and then Coach Sampson called me on the way back from a funeral where my aunt passed away. So he called me and said, you know, we need you here. He said, if you're here, if you commit to us, we're done recruiting. We'll be one of the best teams in the country, guaranteed top 5 team. He said, let's make this happen. And so I got off the phone with him, and my brother said, so what you go to? I said, I'm going to OU.
Straight up.
I was like, I don't care about anything else. And Texas was recruiting. Kansas came in late. You know, a lot of the Big 12 teams. A funny story is University of Washington's assistant coach came down to watch me just play pickup. And then we're in the rec center. So after the games, he said, if I dunk this ball, you got to commit to us. I said, man, you can't dunk. So he went up there just fresh. Back rim dunk, missed the dunk off the back rim.
What was he dressed in?
Man, he had the khaki shorts on, like tucked in with the Washington
polo.
Like Jake from State Farm?
I'm telling you. So I'm like, oh. And I said, you made that? And
I would have had to come
oh,
in.
my goodness. But I was like, thank goodness he missed that, because I was not planning on going to Washington.
Oh, my goodness.
And then another one, SMU, I forget the head coach, and I wish I knew his name because I
Not
was
Larry Brown then.
It was not Larry
Brown.
Brown.
Who it was. I know you're talking about.
No, so SMU's coach, I told him, I was like, I think I'm going to play in the Big 12. And so I've never been cussed out on a recruiting call. He cussed me smooth out.
You stupid
it's like,
mother.
you can play here in your backyard, yada, yada, like, boom, boom. I was like, man, I'm looking at the phone. I was like, yeah, I can't believe he's I'm probably not going to SMU. So boom, done with that one.
I
but
definitely ain't changing my
that
click.
That was what it was, and then I ended up at OU.
Wow, that's cool, man. So then you have brain surgery.
Yes, sir.
At OU Medical.
At OU
and
Medical
you
Center.
end up at OU.
Yeah, real ironic.
Really ironic.
Yeah.
So 2 years at OU. How was it everything that you'd imagine that it was going to be?
It was the most difficult thing that I've ever been through up to that point, because Coach Sampson, everything about him,
he was the Big 12's version of Bobby Knight, huh?
Man, his own version of whatever that was. Man, it's a grind. Like he don't stop. He stays on you. He does. Man, like he'll put you through some mental stuff to make you go crazy, or you just go be extremely strong from it. So every day was a challenge like that. And if it's your day, you running, he dog cussing you, and he ain't letting up. I just remember one incident, man, to where he.
So right now your mind is a fortress, is what you're telling me.
I can't do this. Like
you're impenetrable.
I'm thinking. I said, how you'll get through the day? Like we in the locker room as players, like quiet. Everybody's quiet. Like they focused on, we got to get through this next 2.5, 3 hours, and then afterwards we can kind of exhale. But
So
getting
y'all
through that
go
stuff,
into practice just on
it's
edge.
man, it's the hardest thing in the world, and don't let him be, fired up and crazy about something or mad at something, because it's a wrap for you. And he said, you know what?
Everybody gonna feel it.
Yeah, you ain't doing what you're supposed to. Oh, you missed that layup. Okay, I'll see you 5 o'clock in the morning. Get out of my practice. So come back 5 o'clock in the morning, done with that practice. All right, we good for the day. No. This to make up for yesterday. I'll see you guys back here at 3 o'clock again. So the routine was you start practice at 3 o'clock. but we got to be there an hour before, taped, ready on the court, because you got to do individuals an hour before practice. That's called pre-practice. Then you practice. Then afterward, you're expected to get your shots in, and then you can go. So it's like that's what it's about.
4 hours easy.
And no, so yeah, I eat, I take my nap and eat, and then whenever I leave my apartment at around 1:30 to get there, so I can get taped. I'm already dressed, and I'm out on the court an hour before.
Golly, so did it translate? I guess that's the final question.
So
did it translate?
Absolutely, because at the beginning of the year I went through a really bad shooting slump, and I was about 30% somewhere around there. I wasn't making like I wanted to, but then, man, Samson did something to me. He did something to me to kind of hit the switch whenever it comes to me performing. And, you know, he said some stuff to me, some real personal stuff. Basically, if I'm not on you the way I'm on you, how in the heck you go be ready for life as a, you know, black man and as an individual? Because my little nagging here ain't nothing what you got to deal with whenever you get in this life. So, you know, that started it. And then from there, I went on a real hot tear to where at the time I set the Big 12 record with averaging about 4 threes a game. I broke a record, and I had that for a while. Buddy Hill came, and he broke that along with the rest of my stuff. Trey broke some of his stuff, Trey Young. And so, you know, I did the best I could with the abilities that I had.
Wow, that's super cool, man.
Yeah.
It's like coaches like Samson, you know, if you don't get it right then.
Absolutely
You don't get it right then. Because I had a coach, his name was Brady Trinkle, and this was in junior college at Dodge City. Mm-hmm. And this Dodge City's in Kansas. And, you know, I get there, and Trinkle is, I mean, we're halfway through, you know, the non-conference games. We're halfway through the non-conference games. And he's on me so tough. I mean, I don't think I could have done anything perfect, and he was just on me. And so finally, we get the winter break. Winter break rolls around, and, you know, you get a couple days off. You're not going home.
Just a few.
You're not going home. So I'm there. I got plenty of time to go chop it up with Coach. Coach, man, you know, I'm not complaining or nothing. I was complaining, but this is me. Like, I'm not complaining or nothing, Coach. But, you know, why you on me so tough? You know, some version of that. I can't really remember how it was. This was 2010, 2011, right? 10 years ago. It's hard to even imagine. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, man, why you on me so tough? He was like, man, you know, I'm not going to say my man's name, but he was like, man, such and such cannot take it. And whenever I'm pissed off at him, I know it makes you play harder, so I'm going to let it out on you.
It's funny how coaches know how to pull those strings with they players, man.
Like, bro, when he said that, I was livid. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm just glad I wasn't, you know, Caucasian, because I would have turned that sweater. Like, I was so mad, bro. I was like, huh?
But
he was like,
how did you respond to something like that, though?
I mean, once I knew what he was doing at the time, you know, I still can't wrap my head around it. But every time he went at me like that, I took it out on dude, for real. I took it out on dude every time. I took it out on dude. And I, you know, basketball-wise, of course. Like,
yes, sir.
You know, at the time, so I came in, I was supposed to start, roll my ankle, set me back. I wasn't starting. This dude was starting. And then as I get my body back, you know, I'm getting my conditioning back, and this dude is ticking Coach off. You know, every day I'm at his head. I'm at him. Mm-hmm. I'm at him. So finally, you know, Coach and I had this conversation right before conference, you know, and then during conference, I ended up starting the rest of the conference games. But once I knew what he was, you know, what he was after, you know, really just, you know what, it's going to make him lay down if he gets yelled at, but it's going to make me play harder. I was like, okay, now I know I got another gear in me, you know, so he helped me realize I had another gear, you know, right at that point before you get them technicals and, you know, you can't play. He pushed me right to them point where right before I can't play. Mm-hmm. I was right there, and I was able to play, man. And we ended up going, I think, 20-10, you know, which is, I mean, everybody on our starting five could have went D1. You
That's
know,
huge.
we all had Division I offers, and so anyways, you know, Coach Trinkle, he kind of reminds me of Coach Sampson, man.
I think they got 1 million of them out there, and if you grab one, man, you consider yourself lucky. Not during the time, you hate it whenever it's happening, but consider yourself lucky.
I'm sitting over here like I didn't get to get no coach like that.
You didn't get no coach like that.
None of my coaches was really on my head like that.
So you got to do whatever you want.
It was lackadaisical. Like, for real. Even my junior college coach, like.
Well, he was averaging like 30 in California.
That's
so
senior year and in my junior college year.
So you know he got it different than
but
we
even
did.
if so, my junior college coach didn't like that. So like he wanted us to run an offensive set, and like my freshman year, junior college, it was all freshmen, and like to be honest, they weren't really all that good. So I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I did take it into my own hands to get buckets because it was like what the team I was playing with. Even if we played team ball, we still wasn't gonna have no chance of winning anything. So
that's tough.
Yeah, it was tough, man. Like my freshman year at junior college, I think we went 3-20 something. It was terrible. I didn't know how to lose then, so I'm really mad. It was terrible. Man. So, but like I take that. I mean, I kind of put that on my coach because he wasn't so hard on us. So I feel like since he had a freshman team like that, he kind of just folded. No, I mean, but that's just kind of how I looked at it.
So then I know that the experience that I had with Coach Trinkle, what he did to push me, I know it made me a better player, and I'm sure it made me a better person, but I told myself I was not going to coach that way. You're a coach now, right? You coach Norman High girls, state champs. We're going to get into that, right?
Yes,
we're going to get into that. But talk to me about how your coaching experiences help shape you as a coach.
It's funny. I at the time, I knew that I wanted to be a coach. Even whenever I was playing, I was like, when this is all said and done, I want to go back.
When did you know?
Do that. Man, that was at OU. I was just like, I can't play basketball forever. You know, you got some of those guys that I'm going to make the NBA. You look at it and I say, man, you can't even start for this team. You want to go to the NBA?
Right.
So, like, you deal with that. And I came to the realization that I could play some professional basketball, but definitely not NBA in my mind. But then I was thinking about, after this, I'm going to start coaching. So then I started looking at how they treat players, how I would handle situations, how I would react and interact with players and things like that. So just trying to learn it while I was there, I definitely understood that. But Sampson, I was like, there's no way I can be like that. So Sampson left. Sampson left after my junior year when we get Coach Capel.
Yeah.
So Coach Capel was ideal for me. I think Sampson got the most out of me for sure. But whenever I was a senior, I had already been through it all. Capel kind of understood that, but Capel was a player's coach. He understood players. He played at a high level. He could have played in the NBA. He did not because he had a slip disc in his back.
So what was Sampson's basketball background?
I think he was just in the field of coaching. He coached forever.
But he may not have played.
I can't even answer that question.
I mean, that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
That's an
I'm
answer.
not sure. So, but he's got a pedigree of knowing how to get the most out of his players, and he demands it, and that's why he's great in his right. Coach Capel's great in his right because he understands players. He's not too far removed from the players during the time. I think he was like 11 years older than me whenever he got the head coaching job at OU. So he understood the culture. He understood the player.
Wasn't too far out.
Not even close.
He was like a mentor, really.
Oh yeah. So then I learned so much just by watching him. Like what he did, I was like, I can be that way. I can see myself being that way. Giving players the freedom to kind of grow instead of having that coach that says, okay, you messed up, I'll pull you. And like, so I try to take all of those things now, and me being, offensive driven, not necessarily defense. It's the opposite whenever I coach now. I tell my girls this all the time. I could care less about offense. I can care less about it. You go
because
down
you
there
did it all.
and you do what you can on offense and to the best of your ability. Now, defensively, we're not just letting people get by us. And, we switch I can say it right now because everybody knows it, but we switch everything, and you got to guard a big, you got to guard a small. And if you can do that on the female side of things and have them play against you one-on-one, I think we have some success with guarding and with the freedom that I give them. So I learned a lot from Coach Capel, and even my junior college coaches with Coach Dawson and Rick Dawson. Those guys helped me out, and then obviously my high school coach gave me the ultimate green light. So I try to give the girls the same thing.
Me and Easy talk about this player's coach thing a lot.
Sir.
We've talked about it a lot. So my question is, do you feel like you got more out of the players' coaches than them coaches that just were strictly coaches?
I think, well, as I got older, yes. Whenever I was younger, and when I was a young player, you allowed me to do whatever I wanted to do. I was going to do that. I was just too immature to understand why I should be things should be different.
Yeah.
So if I got the green light, you mean tell me I can shoot this?
I can cross half court and pull this.
Trey Young range? Yeah, I'm gonna do that because it's prettier. It's
By the way, I
sexy.
heard your son did that recently in a
goodness.
basketball game,
And you
cross
know what I
half
said?
court.
So I got a 7-year-old now. He turned 7 a couple of weeks ago. He crossed half court, man. 7 years old, and just tried to get the shot up from half court. I was like, oh my goodness.
Did he hit it?
Man, come on now. He barely got that thing to the free throw line.
Oh,
But he don't care. He's just, I got to get a shot up because if I get close to this ball, go get stolen. So that's
got
him.
it. All right, I had to ask you about that because I forgot to ask you off air.
Yeah,
so
he's something crazy, but just dealing with my experience, I try my hardest to be understanding towards my players, and then letting them know whatever you're good at, let's excel at it.
So as a player's coach, though, do you feel like you can give more information out because you've done it and you've been in that situation?
That helps. Credibility helps, and those girls know, my players know that with the experience that I have from playing, they're a little bit more willing to listen. I've been in a situation to where a coach has not played basketball ever, and then once kids find that out, then I was like, I can't learn nothing from you. You trying to tell me to do what? You ain't played? So it helps me in my situation, along with me trying my hardest to understand my players. So
Definitely.
yeah.
I mean, as a player's coach, I think that there's definitely a different perspective in it, but we don't knock, the coaches that don't play, that haven't played, because they get to see the game from a whole different light.
Right.
You just can't lead. You can't lead with, I never played, but
Exactly.
just don't do that. And then everything going to be Gucci.
No, you're definitely right. But the respect comes with how much you hold kids accountable. And kids are, they're smarter than we think. They want to be coached, but they
don't know they want to be coached.
No, they don't. So that's why you got to stay on them, and you can't let off of them. But they know a phony. They know whenever it's not genuine. They know whenever it's, man, you fake. Right. That's the word that they use. But so you got to hold them accountable. You got to do you got to practice what you preach over and over and over. And then
be who you are. Don't try to be somebody else.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Like, if you've never played, that's fine, but be who you are, because, again, them kids going to see right through it and you're going to lose them.
Yeah, especially with guys. Girls, I think guys and girls are so much different, but, at the same time, they want the same thing. They want somebody to hold them accountable and teach them and help them. So, and if you're helping them, they're all for you. You run into situations to where it's just different and difficult for some, but for the most part, helping the kid is what we're here for.
Well, that's a great segue into winning state, man. First of all, it was the hardest thing for you when you won state, because it was against my school.
Yeah.
It was against the school I coach at. And so I couldn't publicly say, "Go, Mike!" Whoa! Yeah. So I text you quietly.
Yeah, you
and
did.
I said, "Man, I'm super pumped."
I appreciate it.
For those who don't know, Mike helped me get started coaching in Norman, Oklahoma. Yeah. It started off as just an idea, like literally, like, dude, you can coach, because at the time I was, towards the end of my playing,
yes, you was
realizing,
yep.
What, overseas it's probably not gonna work. It's just, I was nearing those days, you got to kind of grasp hold of reality. Like, it's probably over for me. And so when you put that in my head, and then you told me, who to reach out to, what to say.
Yep.
And, I did just that. Like, I did that. And I don't know if it was a week or a month. I can't quite remember. But, I was coaching in no time. I was like, it was that easy.
Yeah.
I was like, shout out to Mike. So, boom, I'm coaching at Norman North. You're at Norman High.
Yes, sir.
And you guys play the crosstown clash, the crosstown rivals meet in Tulsa, 6A Girls State Championship.
Yes, sir.
Talk to us about that. That's kind of crazy.
So like that's what it is in a nutshell. But inside that shell, it goes way deeper. So, we fought. We did everything we could to get there, and there were some great teams. There was realistically about 4 or 5 teams that year that could have easily won it. But the backstory to Norman North and Norman High was 3 of those starters, 4 of those players over there at Norman North, and then 3 of my players all played on the same AAU team that I coached. So there was some internal feelings about, man, we got to play against the girls that I've coached my whole life. One of them being JC Evans.
Right.
And so JC Evans and I have a
shout out to JC.
Extremely strong relationship. So, but when we're playing, and she's the ultimate competitor, you ain't my coach, you ain't my friend.
I don't know you.
And that's the way she is. I said, that's the way I love it. But so it was one of those things to where we win. Unfortunately, it was against her. So I felt some type of way that
you won against family.
I won against family.
Ooh.
And that was hard.
Touchy.
I remember, and JC, forgive me for telling this story, but right after we come out the locker room, I run into JC. She's walking, and the first thing she says is, "Get out my face." Like, no, get out of my face. I can't say
fresh.
Nothing. Yeah, I can't say nothing. I have to move on.
Competitor.
But she's the ultimate competitor. She will break anybody else, walk over anybody else to go get that victory. And that's the one thing that's great about her. And some of those other girls I coached too, it was just sad that somebody had to lose that game. But at the same time, I'm a competitor too, and I want to win. So our girls did what they needed to do to come on top that day. But for Norman, that was a huge victory for Norman.
That's how I made myself feel better about it. I was like, you know what? At the end of the day, Norman's gonna win state, and that's a win for Norman. So
Absolutely.
That's the way I looked at it for sure.
Absolutely. So, there was a whole bunch of trials and tribulations that went on to that season. We were the 12th seed going into playoffs. We lost 7 games. So we were on the outside looking in, trying to dig our way all the way. Yeah, we were on the bottom of the bottom, and we're fortunately to win a state championship and trying to do it again this year.
True Cinderella story.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up, man. Well, I'm not going to ask you too much about this season because I don't want to, put the jinx on it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But you guys are doing real well this year, and, we tuned in. So, keep it up, man. So, one more thing we got to talk about.
Yes, sir.
Because I always want to talk about overseas experiences because a lot of players or, aspiring overseas players, aspiring professional players, they don't know what it's like, and, they think it's
candy.
They think it's candy, and everyone thinks just because you go overseas and you play, you're playing overseas. Talk to us about that a little bit,
man. So the getting over there is probably the most difficult thing. But once you're over there, I went over there and I was, I think 22 or 23 at the time, and on the team, I'm thinking the only thing I know is college. So the atmosphere is college, team camaraderie, being with each other. One of the youngest dudes on the team. Everybody else is in their 29, they 30. They got families, they got kids. So after practice, they go with their families. Oh, what am I stuck to do? So I'm by myself at my apartment. Man, I'm embarrassing to say, but man, those first 2 or 3 days, I'm crying. I'm ready to go home. I'm by myself. I'm away from everything. At the time, I didn't have a laptop, didn't have communication. So
and this is what year?
This was my first year out of college. So them first couple of days, I'm in there like, man, what am I doing over here? I'm by myself. I can't take this. I'm ready to go home. Eventually it gets better. But
2010?
That was 2008. 2008. So I'm over there and I'm playing, and in the first three or 4 weeks, we got 3 days. We get 1 day off 3 days. So I'm like, I think I told you that. I said, man, why are we practicing so much? Like, why do we practice 3 times a day? I remember the coach saying vividly, well, you Americans practice like this all the time. I said, I'm American. No, we don't practice 3 times a day.
Right.
But, that's how they thought, and I got it, but I was in the best shape of my life. So on that team, my first team, St. Quentin in France, I played for them. I had more of a role as a point guard. I never played point guard in my life, ever. And so going over there playing point guard.
Over where exactly?
In France, St. Quentin, France. About an hour, 15 hour, 30 minutes away from Paris. And so playing that position against professionals was the most difficult thing I've ever had to do.
Grown men at that.
Grown men. And then, so not only that, now you go guard their best player because you're
American.
Too. So I'm like, wow. So facilitating, trying to scoring is way difficult. Trying to facilitate and then trying to shut this person down. It was hard.
How much more physical is the gameplay?
It's to me, it's like they'll let you get away with a lot of stuff off the ball, but on the ball, like the offensive player can be as physical as they want to. Defense, not so much. So learning how to guard there helped me like no other, because over here you can get away with some stuff.
So the offensive player was able to bully.
They were absolutely.
Mike Neal.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Absolutely.
That's where it came from. France. We blame France.
No, man, it was crazy, man. And you know, a lot of times I found myself in foul trouble, trying to defend the right way, and offensive players allowed to do kind of whatever they wanted to do, and I had to learn on the fly, and it helped me for my next situation whenever I went to Germany. So in Germany, I played for Dusseldorf Magic. That's in Germany. And on that team, we had a player, Nick Stapleton. He was our point guard. He also kind of led that whole league in scoring. Nick Stapleton wasn't going to guard anybody's best player. I came to the team. I was going to have to guard that other team's best player no matter what at the guard position. And that was my role. So I went from having to facilitate, play point guard. Obviously, you're going to have to guard the best player to now your role is 3 and D. So I'm going to have to guard their best and then knock down shots too. And on that team, we had 5 Americans, and I think all 5 were close to double figures. I think I was around 8 or 9 points in Germany, and but my role was to guard and then hit shots whenever they came to me.
Wow.
Yes, sir. So, you know, and the living situation. So France, I was getting paid $5,500 a month, but that also include bonuses. So you really don't spend that because they pay for your car, your apartment. The only thing you're spending it on is food. So if you're smart,
$5,500 on food, Mike, I'm gonna have to ask you a couple questions.
Look at me now. I look like
chill out.
You know, after that year playing there, you save as much as you can. Like obviously you spend, but you save as much as you can. Same thing in Germany. Germany was a little bit less because we had to divvy it out between 5 Americans, not just 2 in France.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. Normally it's
only 2.
3 Americans per team.
So that league in that one, if you can afford it, then you can pay it. So we all got paid less, but it was a great situation. That was like being in college all over again. So I love that situation. And then right after we're finished, I told my agent, I said I'd rather stay in the States. So I went to go to a couple of D League tryouts. Did really well. That's where I met Kellen. My first time. I never met Kellen before in my life, but he was at one of the D League tryouts in Atlanta, and that's where I met him. Excuse me, I just burped.
It's all good.
But
we're gonna cut that out. Probably not.
But he that's where I met Kellen for the first time. Saw him there, saw him play there, and before anything, and you know, long and behold, I came back to Norman whenever that situation didn't work out to be a grad assistant coach underneath Jeff Capel, and where I started learning, and then went to the high school from there.
Was Kellen there when you were there
so
as a grad assistant?
Kellen came after
you left.
Yes, after there. So I was already at high school when Kellen came to be a grad assistant at University of Oklahoma.
Okay. I was about to say, y'all started crossing paths a lot.
Yeah, we did, man. Kellen's a great dude, and I know whenever you guys coach over there, that's a powerful coaching lineup with everything that y'all got. And honestly, the coaches, if they were to play against the team, we already know what's going to happen.
Listen,
we already know what's going to happen
against everybody.
So whatever I was thinking, I say, man, them practices got to be pretty cool with Kellen, DJ, you out there playing against, you know, their stars. And I know that's a really competitive, and that's probably what makes them go.
Man, not only is it fun, we let them talk. You know what I'm saying? So they talking to us. Yeah, you can't guard me.
Really? Okay.
You can't guard me. And so, man, we had a lot of fun. And, you know, you can't do it all the time. But when we do it,
yes,
it's
sir.
fun, boy.
Yes,
so,
sir.
Man, That's awesome, man. I appreciate you coming in and sharing your story with us, man. Golly, from brain surgery to, winning state to playing overseas.
Yes, sir.
You truly blessed, my man. And, no better place to share it than here, with us on how basketball saved my life, you know. Twan, you got anything to say?
Nothing much, man. Hey, I'm glad to finally hear the whole story.
Yes, sir. And I appreciate you guys. For the audience that does not know, with these two, you got to cheat to beat them. if you ain't cheating, you're about to get exposed. Quick story before we get out of here.
Talk to him.
This dude, Twan, was cooking me one day. We're playing, cooking me. I remember this. I ain't going to never forget it. Twan has this crossover. So
I hated it. I know what you're talking
He'll
about.
hit you with a crossover. So like he'll throw everything into one side like he's going there and then cross. I'm going to fall for that because I can't just get beat off the dribble. So then he brings it right back, hits the shot. I turn around, look at the shot, go in. I turn around, look at Twan. He's staring at me in my eyes. Just running out of court, just looking at me. Yeah, you just got it right there.
Oh my goodness.
So that was before the Achilles, though.
But this man right here to my left.
Oh my God.
Okay, so all this stuff he's talking about me bullying. Okay, he started doing the exact same thing with the athleticism, with the speed, and then so only thing I can do. There was a portion of my time to where I was like, okay, I'm telling you this now because I ain't playing no more. I was like, I can't stay in front of that too long. So like once he starts to make a move, I gotta push him. I gotta hit him. But right whenever I hit him, like I was like, I'm hitting him. And then I'm moving back as he's moving forward, and he's getting to the rim and finishing. And I was like, James, somebody gotta go switch up on this right here. So it's like you can see their growth even as basketball savants, man. Even whenever they're done playing high school, JuCo, college, even with aspirations going to go play somewhere else, their game continues to grow just because of the knowledge that they learn and they pick up things on the fly. That's why it was so much fun to go out there and play with you guys.
Man, that's what's up.
I appreciate that.
It's people like you getting to watch Kellen, you know what I'm saying? And y'all did it, and now y'all putting it back in the kids.
Yeah.
And so we're really following y'all footsteps, man. Y'all blazing the trail.
No way.
So, shout out to you guys, and hopefully we can do the same for our youngins that are watching us, that are, talking smack to us and trying to beat us. They always out there, man. But thank you guys for hanging out with us, and as we drop gems that we picked up from these gyms. Holla.
Take care.